People living with mental health issues are all around us. And like so many of us, I too have battled these issues. Here, we listen to people's experiences of navigating the world in their unique and sometimes funny ways of dealing with their mental health issues. I am Shardul Katyayan, your host, and today we'll discuss one of the most common mental health issues faced by people, anxiety. There's always a hush-hush or parde mein rehne do attitude towards discussing mental health issues. People don't want to touch this subject with a tent pole, especially in India where there is a good chance you'll be labeled as quote-unquote pagal. Also, whenever mental health is discussed or covered in the media, the people appear to be talking down to those who struggle with mental health problems. We have with us two guests, John Victor. John is a clinical psychologist and he works in Delhi and has 20 plus years of experience. The other one we have with us is Sadaf. Sadaf is 27 years old, a creator and influencer. She is fairly active on Instagram and has quite a lot of followers, and you might recognize her from one of her reels which went viral. It was named Urdu Insult Words. So today we'll be discussing anxiety disorders. Most of us have had it in our lives. Like, it's one of the most common mental health problems, but beside being a mental health problem, everyone has anxiety. In fact, the data from US international studies say that 1 in 3 people may have some kind of anxiety disorder in their lives. And the good thing is it's treatable. But still, a lot of people suffer from it because while it's a natural response to perceived danger, and it makes you cautious, like for instance, you forgot your spouse's birthday or anniversary, like the anxiety may help for the oncoming danger. But imagine being stressed all the time. And then it might become a huge problem because you are always in stress, always anxious about something may happen. Sadaf, you suffer with anxiety issues. You are constantly in state of it. So for our listeners and for anyone who wants to understand, just try and explain how it feels to be in this constant state of anxiety all the time.
So I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which means that, which basically means that I'm anxious all the time, even without triggers. The best way I can describe anxiety is imagine your brain constantly, like no matter what you're doing, even if you're sitting, watching a movie, just reading a book, eating something, but your brain just keeps droning on and on about everything that could possibly go wrong in your life or everything that is wrong in the moment, rather than letting you stay in the present moment and focus on your current surroundings. So instead of that, what your brain basically does is it doesn't let you focus on anything that's going on and will just use up all its energy to come up with the worst case scenarios, the most minute of things that you haven't even thought about or that don't even matter, just are just frequent, topics of worries, like
Mm-hmm.
something as basic as just let's say I'm watching a movie and it's let's say it's just like a dramedy or it's a rom-com,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of like focusing on it and enjoying the movie, what my brain will often do is focus on how like the life in that particular, let's say, movie, how it's perfect and how in every way my life does not match up to it and how it's wrong, which it isn't. Like there is no reason for my life to look like that, and it's not something which is personal. It does, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter. Like my brain looks to worry is
Mm-hmm.
the best way I can put it. Like it just looks for things to worry about.
But John, I want to come to you now. As we understood, and as far as I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, social anxiety can also lead to sabotage. General anxiety, of course, it does. And these are two major types. So,
True.
are there any more types and how do we identify them?
Yeah, we have, as Sadaf said, a generalized anxiety disorder. That's very much prevalent, and some people will have some specific phobic,
Mm-hmm.
disorders, Some people have, closed places. They have fear of being in closed places. And I mean, as you said, social anxiety. And something more difficult thing is like panic disorder, where a person will have a series of recurrent, sometimes unexpected panic attacks, and with future of, fear of panic attacks. And something is going to happen to me, some heart attack is going to happen, and I can't deal with myself. I mean, it's a kind of extreme kind of thing. But there are different kind of anxiety disorders are there, but all these anxiety disorders can be treatable. But the problem actually happens is not the anxiety disorder, the way we allow our bodies to react to that. That means a little bit of anxiety is very much important for all human beings to perform at a different level. Probably you know that have a little bit of anxiety so that you want to study very well, so you don't want to fail. You don't want to miss out your submissions and all those things or deadlines. So you actually put a little bit more efforts to do that. But what actually creates the problem is the reactions. That means a thought comes to your mind, tomorrow I have an exam, I need to do well. So you prepare very well and you hard work, and you don't sleep and you study very well, and you feel confident. The moment you feel confident about what you studied, the bodily symptoms, bodily reactions will calm down, and you'll not feel that anxiety. But what actually happens, something is very a difficult situation. Probably you might have understood about stress reactions, right? Whenever we go through some kind of stress reaction, we'll experience flight or fight response. Now, with that kind of situation, what happens is there is something called HPA axis, which actually kicks in our body. That basically helps us to protect us from possible dangers.
Is it recommended for people to go for anxiety disorder, diagnosis, or they should go and look for the condition that may be causing anxiety?
Sometimes when people have thyroid problems, right? When people have, hypertension, these are the kind of things, sometimes people have, tendency to, their hearts beat faster. And sometimes people can actually worry and they feel that it can be, some anxiety. But when we actually explore those things and try to understand the real medical conditions, and we refer them to general medical practitioners, so that they take care of that. Once that is taken care, the medication is given, anxiety will go. Mm-hmm. But anxiety itself is absolutely completely different thing, right? So it should not have any kind of medical kind of, challenges. For example, there is something called health anxiety. Health anxiety means somebody who's having fear that they'll have a heart attack. Right. Or they might have cancer. They might have some kind of illness, grave illness. And because of that, and their body start to react. And they produce anxiety and they start to suffer because of that. And helping them to deal with that anxiety actually even calms them down, and they'll be able to live a normal life. Right?
Right. Thank you for listening, and do write to us if you have any suggestions, inputs about how we can better this podcast. You can write to us at podcasts@newslaundry.com. And don't forget to mention the name of the podcast in the subject line. It helps us find your emails easily. I also want to ask you to reach out for help, for counseling, if you are struggling with anxiety. A couple of places we can recommend are Asra at asra.info and Parivartan at parivartan.org. You'll find the links to their websites beneath this episode. They have phone numbers and counselors available to talk to. Or reach out to someone else you can trust and seek help. Remember, help is available for those who seek it, and we are here for you. That was just a snippet. For the full podcast, head over to newslaundry.com, and while you're at it, don't forget to power the work we do by subscribing to Newslaundry and paying to keep news free and independent.
All the Newslaundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to Newslaundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs, and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो मेरे खर्च पर आज़ाद है खबरें.